Hey, what's good, everybody? So today we're bringing y'all the VRT. If you don't know what VRT, it is the Velia Rooftops, the partner podcast. And in this podcast, we're going to be talking about the state of console. So today, not only do we have people from the NA region, we also have people from the Asia region and the EU region as well. Jane, would you like to introduce yourself first?
Hi, I'm Jane. I run VRT and I've been playing BDO for around 5 years.
All right. Blasian, would you want to introduce yourself, bro?
What's going on? I'm Blasian. I've been playing BDL since launch pretty much. I main Suck Wiz and tagged about. I have a lot of experience, mainly PvP, some PvE, obviously, to get to where I'm at right now. But yeah,
Word, bro. Word. Faded. Would you want to introduce yourself, brother?
Now there, people. I'm one of the EU partners. I main Witch, tagged to a Velk. I do everything in the game: PVE, PvP, life skill. I've been playing this since all it was a character customizer on PC, and then for some reason I came here to console, and here we are.
Word, bro. Word. J Ray, would you want to introduce yourself, brother?
Hello, everyone. My name is J Ray. I've been playing the game for about 4 years, and I play Succession Musa and Succession Mewa.
Word, word. Live from the toilet. Introduce yourself, bro.
Live from the toilet. I play Dark Knight and Warrior. Been on BDO for about 6 years. I PvP and PvE. It's all about like that.
Word, word. Lord Squidius, introduce yourself, bro.
Boa, warrior content creator. I cover PvE, PvP, all kinds of things on the channel. And yeah.
Word, word. Rodello, introduce yourself, bro.
Name's Rodello, no introduction required.
Word, word. Reform, introduce yourself, bro. Word, word. Sidoria, introduce yourself, sis.
Hi, I'm Sidria from Asia's server. I've been playing here for like around 4 years. Nice to see you guys.
Nice to see you. Nice to meet you also. Zeno Payne, introduce yourself, bro.
Yo, it's your homie Xenopane, level 64, Jerkania, and I've been playing since 2018 and all that good stuff. So, yep, that's me.
Word, word. Well, guys, you heard them yourselves. A lot of these players have been playing for years. They have amazing experience and they're well known in each of their communities. One of the things we're going to touch up first before we even get started is kind of a little clear the air from the last stream from Blue Podcast. Don't think that we're showing hate or anything like that. We definitely want to just clear out the air and stuff like that. J Ray, you're at the top, and I know you was the one of those there. Would you like to say your piece about that and clear any topics?
I don't have much to say about it. I think a lot of good things were said. I think some bad things were said, and we're trying to move on to better things.
Got you. Well said. Jane, I'm sorry I skipped over you. I know you was there also, and you're at the top also. Would you want to say anything to clear the air about that stream?
Um, no, I think the part about console was fine. I think we all did what we could. We only had like 30 seconds, so we had to sort of like talk in sound bites. We didn't really have much of an opportunity for some of the partners to flesh out what they want to say in detail. Oh, no, I do not think a finely crafted fashion show will save BDO at all. It was an example of performance. But no, I think we did really good. I think it was fine.
Word, word. Well said. I also think that was a good example that you give about the fashion show.
Thank
A
you.
lot of console players do know it's hard to see other people's outfits and stuff like that. So that was a well good example given.
Oh, it's because we
Live,
play an MMO. Sorry.
live. I know you was also there from the last. Would you want to clear the air on anything?
Only thing is I love women. I don't hate them. I'm not a sexist or misogynist. Think my words got taken out of context extremely. But no, I love women. I support women all 2024. Live for president.
Got you, got you. Squidius, would you want to clear the air on anything from the last stream?
No, not really. I don't regret anything I said in the last podcast.
Got you, got you. Rodello, you're next up. Anything to clear the air, or everything's good?
So the only thing I got to say about that is, basically you take that podcast, you watch the first 2 hours, 30 minutes, and it's fine. You watch anymore, and it goes downhill. So like, other than that, I ain't got no problems with it.
Got you, got you. And Reform, you're at the last of the list. You was also there. Anything to clear the air, or everything was good? Got you, got you. Well, guys, you heard it here today. Everything first 2 hours and before that was well said. We didn't have enough time to actually go into depth because of the 30-second time frame in the soundboard. But we're definitely want to go into further details to inform not only ourselves on console, but others on PC and hopefully the CMs of both console and PC. I also want to give some honorable mentions from the people that were at the previous one. They're busy today, so they won't be able to make it with us. Shout out to World. Shout out to Miss Contagious. You guys may have heard her as MK. Shout out to Guido, also known as Proteus. Shout out to Killer Croc. And shout out to other partners who are not here with us today, not only from NA, but from EU and Asia as well. Um, so going forward, we're going to talk about just the state of console every day about it and whatnot. Um, so let's get into these platform issues. Jane, would you want to start it off?
Platform issues.
Yeah.
I think once we get next gen, I think we'll be able to reassess. But we need next gen, and I feel that after that, we really need to sort of start catching up in content and attracting new players to the game. I think at the moment, like the game just can't handle the size of it. We've got too many problems with assets loading, players. There's an endless list of issues. But I'm hoping that next gen will primarily be able to fix that, and then we can see how that works.
Or hopefully they do show that soon. Hopefully they do.
Yeah.
Blasian, what is your take on the platform issues?
I think a lot of it has to do with, the servers. Obviously, next gen port is a thing, but the question is, do a lot of people even know what next gen port even means? Like, people preach on next gen port. I feel like nobody even know what the fuck that means. I don't even know what the fuck that means. So that being said, I feel like it's one of those things where, we do need to be able to have some sort of potato mode. We also need to be able to have that next gen port to see if our game is capable. And honestly, Pearl Abyss needs to update the engines in general for both all platforms, minus mobile, because I don't even know what kind of engine they even use for mobile. But for PC and console, they should have updated engines, some that can run pretty much similar to like Unreal Engine, honestly.
Word. Now that's well said, because I know a lot of people in the community, they are hyped about it, but like you said, a bunch of us are hyped about it, but we don't know what it's actually going to bring to us. So that's very well said. Faded. What is your take on the platform issues?
My biggest thing with it is I really wish PA would stop looking at us as just a copy paste from PC and start treating us as a separate platform that runs on fixed GPUs. They've got 6 GPUs that they've got to balance this game across. It shouldn't be as difficult as they're making it out to be. When they can stop doing it that, they need to, then they can start. Hopefully with the next gen, they're looking at that, optimizing it just for the AMDs and the Series S and X and the AMD and the PS5. Being able to just optimize the game for those 3 GPUs and the potential future GPUs that are coming out with the new consoles in the next year or so. that should hopefully fix a lot of our issues and start treating us as a completely separate platform from PC.
I agree. I know a lot of times we do talk about the copy and paste, and I feel like it's already worse for Xbox. It's worse for new gen players because we got copy and pasted from old gen, which was originally copy and pasted from PC. So I definitely hear that. I feel like that's very well said as well. J Ray, what is your take on the platform issues?
Uh, well, I'm not super in depth with all this type of stuff. Mine's more just generic compared to Faded and Blasian's points. I think the game, I think the game has way too much shit in it for how well it can perform. I think our consoles are capable of running it well. I just think it comes from the PA side, and then I think our servers, additionally, with them only having the servers over in California, it really kind of makes a difference in endgame PvP, just 1v1 PvP casual, even in grinding and stuff like that. So I'd like to see some work put into that, hopefully soon.
Word. Live from the toilet, bro. What's your take on the platform issues?
Biggest issues is once again old gen. I mean, it's something that we can't control. I'm pretty sure they're locked in some type of legal or contractual agreement is why we're stuck how we are. Um, Hopefully going into the new year, they change that or they rework that contract. A lot of games have already done it. I would just like to see PA do it. That's all I gotta say.
Word.
Are we still under contracts like that to affect it? Is that? I thought they ended. No, I
So
wouldn't
the
know
contract
properly.
is supposed to be ending this summer or something. That's what rumor has it. I'm not I can't
For
confirm that,
PlayStation?
but for both as in Microsoft and they're supposed to be renewing it. So we'll
Normally around
see.
April time,
Yeah, yeah.
financial end of year.
The
That
end of
lines
the
up really well with the Heidelberg Ball, though, doesn't it?
yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
June.
why I think they were talking about next gen port around that time frame around this summer. Is because that contract is getting renewed or renegotiated.
Hmm.
Got you. Hopefully they don't negotiate that contract with old gen because I know we're all ready for that to move on. Squidius, what's your take on it?
I don't really have much of a different point from Faded and Blasian. I think they said it best. I think that in order for us to progress from like the player base that we have to have next gen port and then move on to content in the game and start fixing the content so that way players actually want to stay and play the game because the game's very good at getting people to play the game, but never good at getting people to stay on the game in terms of just keep playing it and having fun.
What do you think
Yeah,
needs to be done there?
I'm sorry,
I
what did you
do.
say, Jane?
What do you think needs to be done there?
For keeping players in the game?
Yeah.
I think that they need to change how new players have to approach the game. I think that people get bored the moment that journals come up. I think that kills the game for a lot of players. I think the journals genuinely destroy a player's motivation to want to have to like do that because a lot if they want to get into PvP, it's mandatory. You talk to any PvPer, they're going to tell you you need those journals ASAP. And then outside of that, even if you just want PvE, they're tied to brackets, which help with PvE. So it's like it's even more mandatory if you want to grind too. So I think that for a lot of people, nobody wants to go up in a mountain in the middle of the game. It's like 5 o'clock in game time. You have to find this random square and then open a box or some dumb shit. It's just not fun. It's all of it is chore content. Not a single bit of the journals are fun. I think that's like just a small portion of the game that I think needs to be retuned.
That is true. I do agree
True.
with that. A lot of the stuff that they have when you're a new player, because I remember when I came back from a break, doing those journals and being time gated by it, that shit was horrible. Especially landing in the morning light, having to wait till nighttime was very horrible. So hopefully they do some time gate removal. Rodello, what's your take on the platform issues?
All right, so yes, the next gen port and everything. The next gen port is basically just an emulator if you think about it, and it's just going to change the way the game runs for the console side on like the next gen side versus the old gen, and that's also a reason why I believe the old gen should be done away with. But another side of it is there's the server tick rate, which is set at 25, if I remember correctly, and most games run at a server tick rate of 120 to 160, and that's also another reason why the game has these desync, like high desync rate or whatever. And that also plays a part for on the console side of things how we have three servers. So on the NA, I know for NA at least, because that's where I play, we share our servers with the SA and the SEA servers at times as well. The SEA servers would usually have your Australian players playing on SEA, but we have them on the NA side. So anytime we have
hurts.
to interact with each other, the desync and everything is just higher, I guess you could say.
I
True.
think Asia server actually shares the smallest size of servers that actually has to get hosted. The EU is also serving all the way down to Australia as well.
I'm on 390 ping. It's like fighting with two hands behind your back. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
we get some Australia. I think it's Western Australia gets forced onto EU, and East gets forced onto NA. If they're on
I thought it was
PlayStation,
PlayStation.
might be
go to EU.
inverted, might be the other way, but
No,
I know
I'm
one
on the
side of
East Coast.
Australia gets thrown onto NA, and the other side gets thrown onto EU. And then we get South Africa, we get Saudi Arabia, we get all of Europe, obviously. We get Russia.
True. Now, see, I didn't know it was so many different servers from all over the world combined into one instead of the separate servers. But I do know we have like a lot of Brazilian players on NA, and when you were fighting against them, it's horrible because they might desync through the map. Uh, I don't know if many of you still go to the BA like we used to do it back in the day, but I remember I fought this berserker in the BA, and out of nowhere he just started sliding across the map. And then I fought a Musa, and the Musa went under the ground and stuff. So that desync is very horrible. So they definitely need to do something with that desync.
I mean,
Uh,
I got like a personal solution I think would work, but I just don't foresee them doing it. I feel like they should dedicate like certain servers to different regions, but if like you want to keep it as one server, so like say you log into Serendia 2, that server is located in South America, right? But it's still like
yeah,
an NA, like it's still part of the NA like server like area. So like you could have most of your SA character players playing on S2, right? But then you'll have like I don't know M2 that's dedicated strictly for NA still, so it's still the same
The server
servers.
hosting never changes location.
Come on.
so
That's like Guido's talking about in chat. Your NA servers are being moved into Central. It's going to improve your overall ping and thing for most of
it's not.
America. But
It improved,
Australia
NA,
is still
but
going to
it's
deal with that issue. So when you're running into those Australian players, they're still pulling from your central server. So you're still going to hit that rubber band because their data takes time to get there and back again.
Exactly.
true. Reform. What's your take on the platform issues, bro?
I think a lot of the server issues have been covered, and things we could implement could be covered as well. It's well known that desync and frame rate lag is like the number one issue across console, PvE, PvP, doesn't matter what you're doing. Like, you could be sitting in town interacting with an NPC and your whole thing will freeze up for 5 seconds. You could be fighting someone, you could be in PvE and just randomly die because you 5 seconds. That's why we don't have Crystal Brig. So it is concerning that it's lasted for this long, but I'm hopeful that with the changes that they said are coming, that they fix the primary like performance that we're currently going through.
So, and Sidoria, I know you're from the Asia side, so y'all are
Yeah.
a lot different. So what kind of platform issues do y'all have, and then what's your take on it?
The platform issue, I think, is like almost the same with you guys. But for Asia, we like most of us on PS on PlayStation it's real bad here compared to Xbox. I'm sure that we a lot like I think it's worse than Xbox here. It's really bad. Even I'm using PS5 right now, I still have a problem when I do Node or GBT or whatever. It's like lagging, delay, like suddenly freeze, and I cannot move for like few seconds. But yeah, I think it's really bad here. Not sure if you guys like keep the
Sort
same
of showing
problem.
us.
I
Yeah.
think
Showing.
the PlayStation and Xbox performance thing is a major issue across all of our platforms. But yeah, with Asia mostly being on PlayStation, you guys are seeing it massively. I mean, we had at one point where PlayStation players on Medaya Siege were told not to bother coming near Castle because they were just blue screen.
Damn. And then
Dang.
Xenopain, I know like you're big on PvE, so I know it affects PvE a lot also. What's your take on the platform issues?
It's just more content. That's what we need, and the lag needs to stop so we can fix that with optimization. And in my opinion, I wholeheartedly agree with dropping last gen. You know, Destiny's done it. You know, with Xbox 360 and Xbox One when it came out, and it made Destiny a lot better at the time. You know, arguably it's probably not that great, but now, but yeah, dropping last gen would fix a lot, and of course the next gen port, and then probably recoding the FSR because I think they did something wrong with that. Because after we got that update, that's when a lot of stuff, you know, went to crap, you know, such as desync, lag, and, you know, just crashing from the game completely. Because what that does is it upscales the resolution of the game. But then when it does that, it makes your CPU in your Xbox or PlayStation work harder because it's trying to render, you know, at a higher resolution. So there's a couple things that they could do. I have no clue why they haven't done it yet, but yeah, those are just some of the ways I believe that they could fix it if they were actually to do something.
Or I think Avatar is supposed to be joining us very soon. So we're gonna wait on this topic until he joins. I'm gonna add him real quick.
I would like to touch
No, I
base
think
on that FSR thing real quick. I
Yeah.
did like so like the way that the fidelity FSR thing is supposed to work. I kind of watched like a little like I went to a Reddit post just to kind of see what people were saying about it, and there was a clip in there posted from one of those Spanish streamers, and he was showcasing with the FSR on and off for PC, and he nearly got, I think, like 30 more FPS based on turning it on and off. And he showcased like he was at like 40 FPS in high settings, and then he turned it on, and then he shot up to like 97. And for us, I don't think that actually happened. Like I didn't notice a significant increase. In fact, things got worse. So definitely something went wrong in the clip like that I posted there where like it's supposed to increase FPS, but for us it feels like it decreases and causes more issues. So definitely I feel like what Xenopain is correct. Something is wrong. Like something did not go correctly.
True. And then
And
Avatar,
that guy has a
welcome to the
GTX
party.
1050. My bad. Go ahead.
Avatar,
I'm sorry, Avatar.
I know you didn't get to introduce yourself. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, bro.
I mean, I wanted to catch up. I just got off work late, but I'm Avatar, one of the newer PA partners, and that's all I really got to say about that.
Got you, got you. And then what's your take on the platform issues?
I mean, from my perspective, like there are obviously like there's some performance issues that can be corrected or can be fixed. You know, and like I think all those points were touched already. I do agree. Like we don't really know what the next gen port means, and obviously everybody has high hopes for it. So I can't really. We just have to wait and see. That's the only real thing I can say about that.
Nice. All right. So we pretty much informed the whole chat about what the platform issues are. One of the number one issues with that is we do need next gen, but we don't know what it brings. And also, I feel like we should tell people how bad OGen is. Um, who would want to start that off first? Why do they need to cut off OGen instead of trying to save it? And how bad is it on OGen?
I'll start it off. It's pretty short and simple. And it's been mentioned in previous podcasts, but if you still got a regular ass OG Xbox or a PlayStation 4, then you need to fucking spend some money. Like that shit is dead as fuck. Like I'll be honest. Like it's 2024, but man, like come on, be real. But at the end of the day, it's just obviously whether you life skill PvE or PvP, right? In this game, the point of it is, the more of performance you get out of that platform, the better. I don't see how you could still play on that platform because the load screens are like twice as long as what we currently have right now. So that's all I got to really say about it. Just keep it as that.
Anybody else or?
Yeah, I'm still using PS4 when I AFK or like do some live skill when I'm not that active. It's really bad here in PS4 and all gen. I have only like 30 FPS or sometimes maybe less than that. It's like sometimes I feel like it's like a PowerPoint. Like it's like I can't move well. Even at the loading screen, it's like 2 or 3 minutes. It's like, oh my god, it's really bad here on PS4 and all gen. So I really hope that they can just drop these and move on to the next gen.
Damn.
They need to give it the Destiny treatment, honestly.
I mean, I
Just
can
say
give,
what you've got is what you've got, and we're only updating the next gen version.
so in the last year I had both, or I had an Xbox Day One edition, and then I got a Series X. And I mean, like comparing both, the only way to make the Day One editions really work, or the older Xboxes, for this game, you had to have like a external hard drive to be able to play and like get load screens that were faster than 3 to 4 minutes, like Sidori said. But a lot of the game doesn't even load in. I mean, like just comparing the two, when I upgraded, you were able to open up like just the world map within, we'll say, 5 to 10 seconds compared to 20 to 30. It was kind of ridiculous how the old gen struggled and could barely keep up with the game.
Yeah, that is wild. See, I haven't touched a PS4 in a while, but 3 to 4 minutes to load in, I'll probably throw the PlayStation through the window or the old Xbox through the window. I'll probably have to call a glass repair person or something like that. So, but I mean, for everybody in the chat that's watching, I'll probably say I understanding if you have a PS5 because the bots and the scalpels, but after 2 years, you put like a little $20, $50 to the side. By the end of this year, you get yourself something new. The next one we have is.
Oh no! I want to comment on it, bro. All right.
Oh, my bad.
I got an example for y'all, man. All right. So if any of y'all are listening right now and you're currently playing on a PS4 or old gen Xbox, the way your peers who are running on the Xbox Series X and PS5 are like looking at you, think of it like this. Imagine you playing on your PS4 and your game is running bad because you're forced to play with other players that's still playing on a PS3. Think of it like that, man. That's about all I got to say about that. It's like, think about the PS4, Xbox One, old gen came out in 2013. Imagine you playing the game with people that's playing on a system that came out back in 2004, man. It just ain't right.
No, the thing is
Please
about
bring
all
yourself,
gen
Jake.
is that it has it's an obsolete CPU. They're capped at 30 frames per second. They probably have less support than their newer gen counterparts. And just to put it in perspective, I don't know. I made a video a while back on when Black Desert Online console was on Game Pass. So because it was on Game Pass, you can actually stream it through the cloud. It ran better on the cloud, because you can do cloud gaming on Xbox, and it ran worse on last gen. Like, just, I mean, it's streaming to the cloud and it's running better than on an actual physical system, and it's running better on a virtual server. Like, that's kind of crazy.
Shit. Yeah, that says a lot about it. And then like the 30 frames, I didn't know you can only get 30 frames on there. I checked like the Black Desert for console, and it was talking about how to get your game to run at 120 FPS. Definitely can't do that on old gen.
But no, you're capped at 30.
So, yeah, they
Might be capped, but can they reach it?
that is true. I don't even think we can actually reach it on a PlayStation.
Yeah.
Well,
I
during
mean, I
this gen,
don't
you can.
personally. My bad, but personally, I don't know why. But by any chance, do any of y'all have any like ideas why that shit doesn't reach that kind of FPS?
For what?
What,
Old
next gen
next
or
The
old gen?
engine is developed for
Oh.
tech that is way beyond those consoles.
If you're talking about old gen, like that's what it's like. That's its physical cap. Like its hardware cap is 30 frames per second.
Well, it's like
She's 30
if I could put in a little bit of input, it might be a little different than what's already been said. I've told this story before, but Calpheon Ball 2022, I went up and tried to ask console specific questions to the head lady herself, JJ. And basically, what I got out of it is when she said that console was on the back burner. Well, that was a whole year they put console on the back burner, and then it was like we're trying to mainly focus on getting old gen to work. And I was like, okay, you're trying to make old gen work before next gen, get it? And this was end of 2022. I saw console footage from literally a week ago, and it was still looking the same. Like if they were putting most of their people and stuff like that to work on getting old gen to work, and it still looks like this, it's just not worth it. I don't think they're ever gonna fix it. So I just don't see the point. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. And then I want to give a special
Mm.
recognition to somebody in the chat. If I'm saying your name wrong, I apologize. But Murky's, he even said, you can't even call it next gen anymore. It's current gen by now. Supporting 11-year-old hardware is atrocious. If a new game comes out on PC, oh, I can't finish reading it. But yeah, at this point, it's not even next gen, it's current gen. And we still haven't even got that current gen by the time they even bring it to us, which is it is atrocious.
I'm starting to feel bad. This was me like 7 months ago.
Look, man, we should have been had next gen. The biggest issue is the game shouldn't have released on old gen in the first place. We shouldn't have got BDO in 2019. It should have had a 2020 release date whenever next gen got released. It should have been one of the first games released when next gen came out, and this would have never been a thing, bro. They just like rushed it, the way I see it.
Yeah,
It's
it
too
definitely
rushed.
feels rough. So
Because now whenever we finally get next gen, we're gonna be on next gen for a year, and then the next gen consoles are gonna come out, and then we're gonna be like, "Hey man, can we get next gen port?" Like what?
hey, that's real. And that brings us into the next topic because like you guys said, it's a whole lot of copy and paste from PC. And I know Blasian brought this topic up that the roadmap between PC and console should be very different. What are you guys' takes on that? Who want to start that off?
Sorry, I missed that. What was that?
The roadmap, how the roadmap should be very different from PC and console.
Well, see, so I don't think the roadmap really is. Like it's an issue, yes, but like the problem is they can't give us a roadmap if they don't got nothing to like. They physically have stuff to give us, but they're not giving it to us until next gen comes out. Is what I'm looking at right now. So when it comes to a roadmap, there is a roadmap. It's sitting right in front of your face, and it says next gen port. Everything else is later.
Or
That's just how I see it.
sure.
So, all right, my bad. I'm back. I swear I washed my hands. At the end of the day, I'm gonna be real. So, and this affects me too, right? As a hard cap player of BDO, right? In terms of like gear wise, right? So at the end of the day, hold on, I had a brain fart. But all right, at the end of the day, like this shit, like we need our own roadmap. Like it's cool that they gave us Guild Garmoth. It's cool that they gave us Vale's Heart if you reach a certain level for a challenge reward. But we don't need the same exact thing that they get on from Global Labs to Korea PC to NAPC, right? We have to be able to have our own thing because we only have 2 Fallen God armor pieces. You start buffing or nerfing certain classes, our meta is completely different than PC. They have artifacts. They have 4 pieces of Fallen God armor. Why the hell are we getting buffs on certain classes where that certain classes will be able to 2-shot with certain skills or 3-shot with certain skills, right? But at the end of the day, it's like none of this will make any sense. We need our own roadmap. They did good, like I said, with Bells and Garmoth, but we have to be able to have our own roadmap. I think Land of the Morning Light was a good choice over Mountain of Eternal Winter, but just because it's more time gated and it keeps you ongoing. Smart play on PA, but we don't need they have to keep going with it. They shouldn't be copying and pasting the exact same content that PC is getting in terms of class balances, life skilling balances. Maybe depends on how you look at it. I can't really speak upon it unless one of y'all want to speak upon it here in terms of life skilling. I don't know how it actually affects it. I do a little bit of life skilling, but it's not in terms where it feels like it's detrimental to me.
Usually, a life skill balance is a buff for them. They rarely get nerfed life skill.
Right. But at the end of the day, like in terms of PvP, which majority of NA at least partners, they're the PvP base, and a lot of people, they like PvP. Right? But even in PvE, our roadmap needs to be different compared to what we have on PC. Just because something comes out on Global Labs, 2 weeks later it comes out on NAPC, 2 to 4 weeks it comes out on console. Like we need something different compared to what they get. We need something that more balances for what we have now. As much as I love to have Awakening Sage or Suck Sage and Awakening Drac nurse, we don't need to have the same type of nurse or same type of buffs compared to what PC has. Because at the end of the day, we don't have the same exact thing what PC has. We don't have 4 pieces of Fallen God armor pieces. We don't have artifacts. We don't have certain grind spots that they have where they are able to make more silver per hour at that grind spot. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the question,
Mouse
though. Can I
movement.
extend off of that?
Go
Just
ahead,
like
yeah.
as a question, just to like spark the conversation here. If we were to have our own updates, and then once we get next gen port, we are caught up. Do you think that creates complications for having multiple games once we're say next gen puts us in a better spot? How do you feel this could affect console overall? Say we do eventually catch up.
All right. So even if we
become our own
Go ahead.
unique platform.
Yeah, like we need our own separate roadmap. Like even if we were to catch up, okay, cool. But at the end of the day, that's not going to change anything.
It ain't okay, cool, bro. Like,
It's not cool. All right, go ahead.
All right. Well, I don't want to speak over you, but I got to comment on it. Like, I really do want to comment on it. All right. So look, if we catch up, then they can implement the changes that was on the PC side. They can implement those back in. But like, that's the problem. We don't have it yet, so it needs to be different now, right? So whenever we do catch up, then they can implement the same. If they want to continue the copy paste meta that they've been going on, then they can move on and add the PC side of said change over. That makes more sense.
Okay, but if we're behind in content, do you feel as though with class changes that reach Global Labs and go to PC live, and then we get them like 1 to 2 weeks later, do you think like the developers should just forego giving us those changes until we reach that point in the game, or like where do you feel like Do you
That's
feel
what
we
they-
should get
that's what
different
they've been
changes,
doing.
or do you think we should stop them? No, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you feel like we should get different changes or no changes at all because we're not there? Because the argument is that like we're not there yet, so we shouldn't be getting the changes from the state of where PC's at, because PC's getting those changes because of how
No,
stuff's
that's not-
performing there. But if we're not there yet, do you think our classes should remain the same until we reach there?
So I
It comes
think
down to
personally,
modifiers, bro.
yes, class modifiers make a difference. They definitely need to update that for Bubble.
They can
Yeah,
leave the
absolutely.
For
changes.
real.
They can leave the changes themselves the same. I feel like the modifiers themselves need to be different on console.
That's in terms of PvP, right? Even if they did decide that they
the
that
PvE,
even
the
if
PvE side of things is generally the same. I mean, I guess for grinding the higher end zones, we don't have the Labresco or the boots or the artifacts. So, yes, I feel like the PvE side of things should be changed as well, but I can't really speak on that because I don't grind them zones. I'm gonna leave that to y'all. But on the PvP side of things, on the PvP side of things, I think the class changes can stay. That's fine. That's cool. But the modifiers behind those, like the hidden modifiers that you can't see, those need to be changed specifically for console versus PC.
I'm kind of
When were they
wondering why
last
we're.
updated?
Go for it, Jane. My bad.
When were they last updated? The class
modifiers?
When
I believe
we had
like they
Drag?
change them. Well, no, they change them periodically, but like the last time it was a big change
Wasn't it was a mega release?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the
I
last
think we
big change,
definitely
but they
need
still
that.
do them like periodically in the backside. They just don't advertise it.
What do you think if they just got rid of them?
Okay, well that's wild.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. Somebody else can comment on that.
I mean, I wanted to say something real quick. It's just, Blasian was saying that we're different from PC, but Blue Squadron's stream that we were on the other day said that our metas are the same when it comes to PvP.
The meta is yes. So all right. So that's what the biggest misunderstanding was. Is yes, the meta as in of itself is the same, but it's different because. All right. So if you go on PC, I play PC and console. All right. You could watch it. You could like physically watch it on their streams too. The difference of let's just use a Drac as an example. A difference of a Drac jumping on top of you, throwing 3 skills at you on console is on console, if they throw 3 skills on you, you're dead. On PC, you're not because you have the Labresca helmet, you have the Ator boots, you also have the artifacts. It's 3. So it like in the broad spectrum of things, we just don't have the DP to so to speak to like counteract how strong these classes are hitting. Like on PC, yes, Archer is real strong on PC, but the difference on PC is on console, you're getting one shot. Like your general player with above average gear, you're getting one shot by an Archer versus on PC, they're just shooting from range, dousing you with skills, and you're dying quickly. But on console, you're just getting one shot. It's just plain and simple.
That's a valid point, but I think then it shouldn't be different modifiers and a different roadmap at that point when it comes to PvP. Then I think, hopefully with this next gen port coming out, hopefully it's everything we all wish for, but I think they need to catch us up to PC as soon as possible, so that way those modifiers, class balancing is justified. That's what I would argue.
All right, so basically what I'm hearing you say is instead of changing the modifiers on console versus PC is just the speed boost, like our content, so we get the helmet, we get the boots, and we get the artifacts.
Yeah, because then it would make up the difference.
I mean, in the like in theory, that sounds like the best case scenario. Yes, I agree 100%, but generally speaking, it's just unrealistic.
So, if I can kind of just I think our metas are very similar. I think Radell hit it spot on with that, and how he explained it. I will say there are a few outliers, like Suck Zerk on console is not nearly as good. It's still good, but not nearly as good as Suck Zerk is on PC, and same with Valk. We don't see the same value out of Valk that PC does. So I think there's like a few outliers, but generally it's the same. In terms of roadmap, I really don't think we should be talking about content until our game works. And this might just be me. Everyone's feel free to feel the way they want to feel. But I would much rather have them 100% focus on getting our game working and getting all that shit done. And then once that goes, then they can look at content from then on out. Whether that's class balancing. I think quality of life stuff is fine. Like, and obviously hot fixes are fine too. But I think in like a general sense, everybody needs to be focusing on getting this performance issue out of the way, and then we can talk about what classes are good and what classes are bad. Because like for my class is still kind of mid on PC, but it does a whole lot better because it has FPS. So classes like Succession Musa, Meiwa, fucking Ninja, Kuno, stuff like that get better just with adding FPS. So it could put them totally in different spots. So I'd say we just wait till then. But that's just me.
That's why I mentioned next gen port, because that just goes right back to what you just said in a different way.
Yeah.
I mean, we can all agree. Everybody in here. I don't think there's a single person in here that's not agreeing that next gen port is our focal point altogether, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Amen.
number one on the list has always been optimization and next gen port, right? So everything else we're talking about is kind of like it just plays in the part below that, right?
Yeah.
Here's
And then
what Modelo means though, because on PC they have the other sets of Fallen God gear. They have the artifacts, which can either give you more accuracy, more evasion, more DR. They also have special crystals and elixirs and potions and more that we don't have.
Aren't we
So
only missing the new upgraded LCARs?
yeah, so like
So
they could do they could take more damage, whereas on console you can't really take the same amount of damage because like Rodello said, on console you get hit 2-3 times, you're dead. On PC you get hit 2-3 times, you're probably standing up laughing at them like, feed me more, like Rob back.
I don't know if that's entirely true, but
On a
I
general
think burst
spectrum, yes.
DPS on PC is still the same as burst DPS on console. They deal more
Yeah.
damage, more FPS, as we've said. Next gen, more FPS, more damage.
Well, how is the
Yeah,
meta
it's-
for
it's- it-
SCA and EU? Is the PvP meta the exact same as NA and PC? Like, are you guys struggling with the same classes that are just dominating your PvP meta and your PvE meta? Like, is everything the exact same? If you can remember
We've
back.
got quite a wide variance of classes that play. We do have some guilds that try and stack meta, but unless you're good on your class, stacking a meta doesn't mean shit.
Doria, how's
What about-
Asia? What do they feel
yeah,
about
how's Asia?
performance?
This I have to say. I'm sure that like on Asia, like right now, I think it's we run a lot different from NA and EU. Like, oh my god, I don't know how to say this, but it's like on PvP, right? They just like follow up the meta, like every update when there's like an OP class, they just like follow all of that. And they just
Also,
keep
Asia is
waiting
very
for
much on the meta train. If something gets OP, Asia follows onto that class.
Yes, something like that.
Okay.
And like, yeah, like
What are the
right
metas
now,
in Asia?
Whatever's the most strongest at the time. If something is strong, they will tag it to go onto that.
yeah, like right now, there's one guild that have like a lot of Sage, Awakening, and Succession. I don't know why, but it's like half of that guild have Sage. It's like quite annoying to fight them.
What
How
spec
is
of
the
server are you
Drac
referring to, by the way?
population on
Drac, right?
SEA? Are you seeing a lot of Dracs on SEA?
Was a lot like
6
from
or
last
7
month,
on
but like
EU.
suddenly on January and February, suddenly they changed from drag to Sage.
Oh.
So it's like
Okay.
very few drag love, and now it's like Sage Desert Online.
That's interesting.
What would be the better in EU?
The meta, again, we have a massive variance. You can look at any of the Siege VODs when we go to Calpheon, there is a wide variance of different players. We've got Archers, we've got Rangers, we've got Zerkers, we've got Sorks, we've got Valks, we've got Shies on capped Calpheon, you know? We've got such a wide variance. On EU, it's more we build squads around complementing squads, not just meta squads. We do have a lot of LANs. Well, I wouldn't even say a lot. Like Calpheon Castle, with 5 guilds there's like maybe 20 LANs flying at it.
Shoot.
So it's safe to say people in EU are pretty much playing what they want to play and not following what the patch notes
they're
tell them
playing what
to.
they want to play, and they're actually spending the time to get good on that class rather than just chasing the meta.
Okay. I mean, that's nice to hear that at least some regions are doing that.
I mean, if you look at like Zekt's been Musa basically the whole time. He's been Musa. Some of you will know Warfare. He's still a ninja.
So y'all actually have a variety compared to everybody else.
Our GM, he's been a Zerker since Zerker came out.
Shit. For all the NA players, would y'all say we have a very diverse, or everybody meta rolling?
Hell no, that shit's meta rolling.
I
bro.
feel like NA is
it's
very meta chase. Whatever class is OP next. Like you've had
on the
Right.
in-game PvP side, yes, and in-game PvE side probably as well. But like, I mean, if you actually like walk around, you see not everybody's playing meta, but like generally most of the people in here are on the in-game side of things. So you're just gonna see meta for the most part, yes.
Right. You're gonna see either Wusa, Megu, or Guardians just grinding the shit. In terms of PvE. In terms of PvP, in terms of PvP, it's gonna be like, it's gonna be fucking. You're gonna see your Awakening Drax and Suck Sages still, even with the nerfs, like, because the class it was a nerf, but it wasn't like a crazy nerf where it was like making people reroll. The damage is still there. I'm not saying that the damage needs to be nerfed. However, class modifiers is my biggest thing. Class modifiers need to be updated. We need different types of class modifiers versus what PC gets. We need to have what our own platform is scheduled to get, because we are not PC. We are not what they get. We don't have what they have, and they shouldn't just be pretty much pasting the same shit that they got as an in-game player. Speaking on my perspective, you know what I'm saying?
Would you, I mean, I think this has been touched probably like 20 times, but I feel like, would you say that if we eventually get caught up, would that fix a lot of the issues?
Even if it fixed a lot of the issues, maybe. But if we got caught up to where PC's at, then we're in the same boat as PC. For whatever is meta on both platforms, then we just need to be able to adjust and adapt. PA needs to be able to look at their suggestions, look at their forums on both console and PC, and be like, okay, yeah, a lot of people are complaining about this class. Maybe it is overtuned. A lot of people were on the understanding that maybe, RBFs and AOS was supposed to be the game modes that were used to try to balance classes. Are they actually looking at that is the question, you know what I'm saying? This is like debatable at this point, because Awakening Drac has been out for a minute. Yes, they did some nerfs, so we have to wait for at least PC, which we shouldn't on our platform. Our platform should be completely different. But on PC, yes, people are still doing practice mode AOS, and they're playing with Awakening Drax, and they're like, oh yeah, this class is still busted. You know what I'm saying? But for their separate platforms, we should be able to tell that, hey, yeah, because these guys don't have artifacts, because these guys don't have 4-piece Fallen God, we need to be able to have our own type of balances for our platform.
Yeah. And then one thing I want to say to add to that, as a PlayStation player, also reading the chat, one thing that is very hard both for PlayStation players, which a lot of Xbox players is not so much of an issue, if you look at an Xbox streamer when they're grinding, when they're in PvP, especially in the castle for sieges, you guys y'all lag, but y'all lag with effects on. See, when a PlayStation player has effects on, every time we load in, we could get one kill, and right after we get that one kill, our game is gray screen. If we go in a large populated area,
I gotta.
Settings thing
we're gray
for
screen.
PlayStation 5 to hope that they don't crash. It
I-
is mad what PlayStation has to go through.
I haven't turned on animations in over 2 years, and I lag with animations off, and I'm Xbox Series X, and I run hard drive, and I'm direct connected on a monitor. So it still comes down to just the game's overall performance. It's not just like a console thing. There are some issues, but I can confirm that the animations don't make a difference whether they're on or off.
I feel you, Reform, because me personally, I run on fiber internet.
Right, I do too.
I bought my own router and modem.
Mm-hmm.
Some of y'all may consider it's the whole Netgear modem type shit, but at the end of the day, it's not helping our performance, and we are also just banking that next gen port, which 90% of the community doesn't even know what next gen port means, but we're banking on that to fix our performance and maybe hopefully graphics cards.
They hopefully they do, because if I was to put my effects on right now, about 25% of my play time throughout the day would be crashing on Black Desert as a PlayStation player, even with the effects on sometimes. Like the castle pushes, if you're in a guild and you push that castle, you guys probably know this already. Your PlayStation players are MIA because PlayStation can't even handle what PA gave us.
I wouldn't even say just Castle. Send a PlayStation player to Medea.
Oh shoot! Don't even get me started on Calpheon. I actually uploaded a video about 6 months ago, and that when I was in the older guild at the time, and it was one of the last guilds of the alliance, and we had to push them out. And holy shit, on that day, every single player legit lagged out. It was like the Black Beatles challenge. If you guys know what that challenge is,
He lagged out.
You lagged out.
He just lagged out. His PlayStation.
oh, my bad. See, that's how bad it is.
Oh.
Bro, that might be your internet, bitch.
Yeah, that okay.
I was gonna say.
No, I mean so I have similar situations to you guys, but I don't freeze as much. I don't lag as much. I feel like
What are you on?
I'm on Xbox Series X. I have my own router, my own modem. I do have really good internet, but I don't I freeze sometimes, but there are times where I'll be in Siege and I don't have the same experiences. But one thing I was curious on is does PC have different settings that they're able to adjust compared to console?
Much more settings. They've also got a PvP UI that engages the moment they turn their flag on.
So
they can
that could
they can hide things automatically on the UI the moment they flag up or enter PvP. They've also got
that could
way
be
more
a good
performance options.
suggestion. Just from say it again.
Avatar, there's a reason why you don't experience it as much as us, because 90, well, I ain't gonna say 90, but at least 75% of it is also a server issue. And ain't you right there in California?
No, I'm not.
You're close, ain't you?
Nope.
You're not on the West Coast?
No, not anymore.
Oh, okay, well, I can't.
Not anymore.
I don't know what it is then, bro.
No, I was. I am in Central. So that's why I'm I've heard those terms. I mean, I didn't know what they mean at the time, but when people were like Cali carried, blah blah blah, so on and so forth, I realized that now that people were talking about ping, but I'm I don't have a lot of those problems. But a good suggestion, maybe something that can be done, is maybe bringing more settings to adjust how the game visually looks. I mean, because when I look at Warriors on PC, people look like they're playing on potatoes, right?
Yeah.
It looks like Minecraft. And
the biggest
I can't
thing
even
for
make it look like
that
that.
is our software agreements with PlayStation and Xbox.
See, I wish MK was here because she said it best in the first stream. At that point, the extra settings, PA can't even blame it on PlayStation. They can't blame it on Microsoft for Xbox because there's other games like Elder Scrolls, Final Fantasy that's on console at this moment, and they have those extra settings to where you could change the graphics. So that's definitely a PA issue. I feel like in that first stream, Blue Squadron didn't really realize the difference. Because he never played on console before, but on console on other games that's been out for years, they do have other settings. So that's definitely a PA issue.
I'm curious, what settings?
So one of
Are
the
we talking about the performance and quality modes that games have at the moment? Or
Yeah.
are these actual detailed settings?
Yeah, they're actual detail settings. I wish she was free today because she could go into further depth than I can. But she definitely brought up a couple examples and some proof of it.
That and just to reiterate, you're saying that we cannot get those types of settings.
I feel like
Most of the time, a game doesn't have them due to software agreements with the platforms, because we deal with the stupid comparisons between our platforms because they run on the same GPUs. There is always that stupid comparison. So if they have it on one thing, both platform providers are worried that someone's going to turn their platform down to the lower settings and keep the other one on the highest, and then say Xbox is performing like this, don't buy it.
I mean, I don't want to point out
It's
the obvious here.
misrepresentation of the games that they have the software agreements that you can only have X amount of limitations across the games.
Like if you go through your party right now, I promise every game you're looking at has that X and S symbol on it or has that P5 symbol on
It's
it.
probably next gen, is what you're saying.
Well, it's just this is the only game I have in my whole library that has not yet been next gen, or well, it's not even next gen, current gen at this point.
Yeah, it's the only one in my library on the Xbox that doesn't have the XS on it.
True. Well, on to the next topic. Now, this topic right here, I legit know nothing about this. And the Squidius had brought this up. He had brought up the fidelity patch and the FSR patch. Squidius, if you want to start it off, definitely want to hear what the fidelity patch is and what it brought to us, as well as the FSR.
From what I understand with the Fidelity FSR, whatever that's supposed to be, it's just supposed to generally increase performance. From what I'm seeing here, and judging by the clip that I sent earlier, there's about a 30, sometimes even a 40 increase in frames for FPS, and I don't see much of that happening on console. And in fact, I see it going down more so than usual. At one point, even before we got the fidelity change, when next gen first came out, it ran perfectly fine. We were doing sieges and node wars, and it was actually playable when next gen first came out. And then they took that away, and then the game turned to dust, and it just didn't really work as well. And then the Fidelity FSR came out, and then that's when we had a lot of issues with screen tearing, the game turning just to dust and not being playable. This is back when there was 19 forts on one region, so I mean you could factor in server lag and stuff, but in general, that fidelity thing didn't really do much. It didn't really. It at least doesn't feel like it did much because we're still not being able to maintain 60 FPS. We're not going above that either, and it's just constantly getting lower and lower. And even when you're sometimes just standing still, your game will stutter, and then there's nothing around. I've sat in BA where it's completely empty and my game freezes and crashes.
Shoot. And then
I have to gamble with opening my chat window. If someone says time to me at Oland's, I have to really gamble whether or not I want to reply to them or risk going to my dashboard.
Shoot.
On PlayStation?
On Xbox.
I get the same shit. I'll load my game up within the first 5 minutes. If I pull up my chat, my game crashes.
Yeah.
On Xbox?
I don't run into that at all. I've never experienced that ever.
On Series
I've
X.
had that.
Yeah.
I've never
But
had
it's,
that.
for me, it's after certain buttons get pressed. Like, it's if you Yeah, you have chat open. Then if you press your little
Shockingly
button with the three
enough,
little lines,
I
it'll
have no
crash me.
crashing issues whatsoever. Like I don't crash ever. But
That's the only time I do
I
crash.
get freezing all the time. Mid combat, standing in town, looking through my inventory, just random
My
freezes.
chat thing is my biggest risk of crashing. I get the skip frames and tears like everybody, but crashing is my chat box.
But you know what I will say? It's sad that, I mean, I can understand maybe animations because having animations on in console video makes you have to worry about screen tear, possibly hit stutters from skills from certain classes that have multiple stutters. But what I will say with that is, no, not a brain fart. What I will say with that is that, you know, we have to be able to run our own game and have that different type of like, what would you say, graphics card, whether it be potato mode, you know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah, like I feel
we
like
get a lot of classes, especially melee classes to be exact, you know, they get those hit stutters and you're just stuck there, and the next thing you know,
on my
you're
Valk,
dead after a
I
second.
get so many skip frames when I cast if I do things, or I had a shy tagged for Olins and I get the "you've performed too many hits" error.
Right.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah. Or you do the Valk's 100% and it pops up, you've performed too many hits, and before you've hit the final hit and you don't deal any damage because the game can't register what you're doing.
Our favorite pop-up. Please try again in a moment.
Can I bring up a
Yeah,
topic?
oh,
that was
please
brought
try
up
again
my
in a
stream?
moment when you do a grab.
Alright, so
Saya.
in my
Regular.
stream, I got a dude that basically said something else PA needs to consider in general because it has issues on PC, much less console. Unless you're in KR, is potentially neutralizing model diversity and larger scale content, like how Terra made everyone look the same, whatnot. And I try like that's the thing that some of the PC players. So he's a PC player. So that's the thing some of the PC players don't know that we have is whenever we go to Siege, we have to buy an outfit, and this said outfit basically makes everybody in the game look basically the
Outfits on
same.
PC though.
No, they don't have that.
Wait a minute. PC doesn't have a Siege outfit?
No.
No.
I swore they did.
No
Every time I see
shot.
them on Siege, they look like us.
No.
That's a console only thing. It was meant to try to help with the lag, which it clearly didn't, and they just
Wow.
I'm sure they do have it.
that they don't.
No.
No, because I've actually watched some of Blue Squadron's podcasts, and he's never told people to wear fits. And now that I think back to like Choice and Divvy, they're all wearing their outfit during their sieges and Node Wars and stuff. That's crazy. Wow, I didn't even think about that.
I never knew that either.
Wow.
That's a console only thing.
See, now that's a big difference from PC and console because we all have to look the same, and they definitely have a lot more leeway. Which also.
Oh, okay. So they have it in game, but it's not requirement.
Oh,
so
you read that out of my chat?
They...
Or your chat?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Your chat, yeah.
Yeah.
Can someone confirm? Actually,
No,
is it
it's
a
there as a-
requirement or
as a
just something that's
cosmetic
there for the
opportunity.
older gen GPUs?
I mean, I could log
Because-
into my PC account and go look.
Yeah, I'm guessing if it is on PC and it's not a requirement, it is because PC obviously handles. You can play this on a GTX 970 on PC. You know, but obviously it's not going to be running as well as Choice's for GTX 4090.
Yeah.
So
But,
they
I
will
mean,
have
even just thinking about
optimizations
that
in
here-
place for those older gen GPUs.
True. Jay, I know you have brought up a topic of like the fashion show. I feel like this would
Huh?
probably be the best time to actually elaborate
Do you
what
not
you did.
think a nicely timed fashion show will save console? I only brought that up because we play an MMO. It's a social game, and it's an example of where the game and how it loads assets and players and what it can handle. And I do run a lot of events. So in order for me to do an event, I have to run it through Arena of Arsha or a mansion. Otherwise, we can't assemble in the open world. And players are spending $30. It's like $40 for in Australian to get an outfit that's useless. Well, you get your combat EXP and death penalty, that sort of stuff. But essentially, if you've got any more than 4 or 5 people around you in a town, you can't really see it. Like outfits start disappearing. And that was my point, that it's an investment of money that there's not really the return on, and it's how the game loads assets and players in town. So you add siege on top of that, or you put node wars on top of that, like it just gets exponentially worse. So that was the point of that illustration.
Sure. Now, that was a good illustration. I will say though, I'm kind of jealous of PC now because they get to look good during Siege, and then I just look like a Slim Shady clone. So I definitely want to look good in Siege. So they're definitely gonna have to bring that next gen port so I can start looking
See,
good.
I'm not too bothered by looking good in Siege when right now we are all about trying to squeeze as much performance as we can out of this game.
It's
In
also,
towns and
Sorry.
doing other stuff, I am so with you there. Like when you're out and about in the world, you should be able to see someone's outfit. It shouldn't be when they load in, you see that ugly ass outfit that every witch and wizard spawns in with.
Thank you.
You see, we gotta look
Right.
at that,
I
and
feel
then
like
I can't even sprint through town, right? So I have to slow run on my horse.
Exactly.
right,
And see
right.
that
Exactly.
You in order in terms of node war and siege, you have to like slowly walk up to your enemy fort, right? Just so you can see like, okay, wait for everyone to render in, and then you're like, okay, I have to make sure animations are off. I have to make sure guild names are turned off. I have to make sure my ring menu's turned off. Like we shouldn't have to be able to risk that just to have some sort of performance. Or I've even heard the rumors where you have to go into temperature mode on your world map when you pull up your world map during a Node War siege and go into like temperature mode just so you can see that the game runs better, slightly better, or even just
What?
1% better
Don't
just
forget
to
that?
fucking play the game.
What do you have to
You're
do?
holding out on performance enhancements? I didn't know that.
Right, the amount
Yeah,
of times
temperature
I've
mode
popped-
because it doesn't load the weather patterns in the background. It just loads the temperature map.
I just put on Node War mode, so it's just
Yeah, node
What?
war mode is the best one because it doesn't load the weather patterns either.
Bro, the amount of times that I've pulled up Tiger Blade to go and pop stun traps at a fort and I've crashed or freeze for like 10 seconds just because I chased up to a fort, bro, that shit's ass.
Where do you guys mostly siege on NA? Do you have it on multiple castles or
Calpheon, Valencia.
I would say it's
Calpheon?
not.
Okay, so you know the build spot just behind castle where all the trees are?
Yeah.
That one is the worst for us because the trees stop the fort's rendering, and you can be, if you're on a Musa, dashing, trying to find something, you can sometimes skip the entire wall and end up in the fort.
Or get stuck in the wall completely.
Yeah, or just you get stuck in the wall completely, and escape puts you back in the fucking wall.
Yeah, Calpheon's probably the worst region in general to
Yeah.
siege on. That region has always historically had issues.
Can I ask a question? So we all know that we need performance and we all need optimization. We've all got that. But once next gen comes out, do you guys have confidence that it will address a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about, which is essentially going to be in about 4 months? Do you feel that next gen will help and be the answer, or do you feel that there's more other than performance?
I think they need to
Personally-
outline like what exactly this next gen port is going to do for us. They can't just say, "Well, here's next gen port." They need to outline like, "Hey, we understand these issues are what's going on. This next gen
Bro.
port is going to look to improve X issue, and you should see less moving forward." Type thing.
My thing is, how do they plan on showcasing next gen come Heido Ball or come summertime, right? What are they gonna do? Show us a clip of somebody
Yeah, we're gonna
playing the
get 10
game
second
smooth
clip.
as hell?
Somebody.
Yeah, it's gonna be
You know what I'm
really
saying? Like-
interesting to
Not
show
lagging.
this.
Like,
'cause-
how is this? Because that's what we were promised in the Calpheon Ball. We were promised next gen or a showcase of next gen.
A showcase was, I don't know how many of you seen the roadmap from the Calpheon Ball on the PC website that has console's roadmap on it, but it is just a showcase that's going to be shown off.
Yeah. So even if once we get the showcase, we're still not even guaranteed to get that. You know, a month or 2 or 3. I mean, look how long it's taking us to get Scholar. PC's gotten Scholar the moment, a couple of weeks after it was announced in the Calpheon Ball. How long is it going to take us to get Scholar to class?
They already announced it. They
And
said we're not getting it until after next gen port is released. So sometime
no,
after the summer.
exactly.
No,
So
no,
how
no.
long do you?
They
Am I
reversed
alright to post a link in your Discord? In your stream, sorry.
Yeah, by
Mine
all means, go ahead.
or
Go ahead.
his?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Blasian, yeah.
Yeah, by all
They
means, go
reversed the
ahead.
Scholar
And
thing.
at the same time, but that's my point exactly. If
Yeah.
if it takes this long to just get a class, and we've been getting classes multiple times, right? How long is it going to actually take us to get the next gen port promised to both platforms of PlayStation and Xbox?
I think classes are held back a little bit because they're always bugged, right? And there's always damage issues or lack of or too much. So I always sort of assumed that they wanted to sort of get them largely in an okay spot, then give them to console because we don't have Labresca and artifacts and all the other pieces of equipment to mitigate if something's broken in that way.
You could say that, but also look at Suck Sage and Suck Mega release.
Well, I think we learnt from Sage, we lost half of the game.
Well, Suck Megu was a detriment to society once it came to console. Like, I don't think I've ever seen so many people complain about one class. The class experienced 10 back-to-back nerfs for 7 months. My poor class got destroyed. Even PvE, but PvE aside, that it's just the release of Suck Megu, like that we can't even use that argument because we're getting them in broken state, right?
I'm so glad that when they started on Wusa, something somewhere went, wait, we can't do this again. We can't just take a class and murder it. We need to bring the others up instead of murdering classes.
Right.
Right. So
Exactly. So, go ahead.
I'll let you go first. Bro.
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was gonna bring up the next topic. I know World had made a very good point about this. And I think Jane and World had brought this topic up, and it's the fact that PC, and I'm not talking about like players, but PC, not PC, the devs and the CMs and GMs, they're giving PC a whole lot of events and stuff like Halloween, Christmas, Valentine's Day, Christmas, and we're not getting that. So, what's some events that y'all think that PA should bring to us also to actually get the community more involved? And like Squid and Live from the Toilet said, to actually keep these new players invested within Black Desert.
I definitely think they dropped the ball this last Halloween. We got all the decorations. We got even the Marnie Lab decorations. And we just didn't get any of the bosses. Like, for those new players coming straight from Hide or Ball as well, all of our events are just hollow decorations in the world. And I think as a new player, it'd be kind of disheartening to see these cool events. You see the trailers, because they get shared on both of our platforms. They share PC's Halloween trailer on console's Twitter, and then the players come in and be like, "Wait, where is it?"
For me, I felt there's a couple of things, like a couple of hurdles for new player retention. One of them, keeping endgame in the game. It looks the same, 365 days a year. And for new players to come in, I thought having some events and something that they can give them some direction, things to do if they don't know quite what to do, would be helpful. I thought that issues around RNG with enhancing and Node War and Siege performance were probably the three things that would keep a new player from sticking with the game. Yeah, performance, Node War, it's just everything's the same.
Yeah.
And there's no excuse for it in my opinion.
True. And then you're right, because one of the guides, not guides, one of the things that they do, like when you're enhancing the stuff, say you're enhancing for like a Tet Fallen God or Tri Fallen God. Not sure how many people have whatever level of Fallen God, But when you're enhancing for it, it'll tell you 30% of people use X amount of stack. So when you use the suggested that every other player is using, another message will pop up. Are you sure you want to use this stack because you're using a high stack? And then it's like, why are you telling me I'm using a high stack? But then you're also telling me 30-40% of the gamer base is using this stack.
I think it's because the coding for Fallen God and Dawn's Gloves is registered on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instead of like pry to pen. I think that's why it does it, because it reads tet as +4 and not as something higher than that. And I think that's what it is. I've pointed that out before as well.
We haven't had enough enhancements on EU to even have other players have used this.
Oh.
If I open my Try Fallen God right now, there is to go for Tet. There's no other players often use this.
Wow. What
There's no stack there.
Tet.
It doesn't show you for Tet. Yeah.
Because their player base is so small.
True.
Yeah, our player base on console between PlayStation and Xbox is really small. So at the end of the day, our chances and i.e. our recommended stacks is going to be completely different compared to what PC has, right? So
our Black Stars finally for pen have that now, thanks to the Tet Black Star 3-1. People actually tapping shit. We finally have other players use this.
True. So Doria, what about in Asia? How is it in Asia?
Oh my god, what again?
For like Fallen God, Black Star pins.
Oh.
Enhancing and stuff.
Oh, about enhancing stuff, right? Like, it's like they crazy enhancing here. They're really crazy about enhancing. So it's like they enhance all the time. Even we have less than 1,000 player. Believe it or not, I think Asia server we have like less than 1,000 player here. Check, I count it from Node War and Siege War. Like, I'm sure that PvP people should have around 400 or 500 only, and then the others just like do PvE and like live skill, chill and do some quests. But those PvP players here, they're like really crazy on enhancing. Like most of the number 1, 2, 3 guild, the strongest guild here, they have all of them have like Tet Falling God armor, like the Villing, Black Star all pen. Even the Axery, they also have like full pen here. We have like nothing to do anymore.
Asia goes hard with its enhancing.
Yeah, really hard.
Like they go crazy hardcore. When I went over to Asia, I think it was 2 years ago with our first Asia partner, got help with a costume event there. The server was just popping, just constantly people enhancing.
Yeah.
They just sit there in Velia just hyping each other. That's also the big thing there. Different guilds come across there and they just hype each other. They just want people to be getting gains. They tap.
True. So Asia's probably more advanced in gear score than the rest of us.
Their top guild is probably outgears all of our top guilds.
I do have a question for Sidoria, right?
Yes.
Do y'all by any chance get updates before us? Because I know y'all live in the future and shit. But us being NA and you being Asia, right? Are y'all getting updates ahead of us? Because I honestly never knew this question because I've never thought to ask, the buddy partner of Asia server of console, hey, have y'all get updates before us? I would assume yes, right? Just due to the fact that y'all are ahead in
It's
time
just like-
in time zone.
Nah, it's just like 1 hour before you guys. I check from every time when we had update, right? When we have maintenance, I check all the times like when I can play. It's like just 1 hour before you guys. It's the same date. It's just like 1 hour before.
Right. Okay, well, that's good. I didn't know that, honestly.
But the patch note is out at the same time, so I think it should be the same. Nothing much different.
Yeah, the
What
patch
time
notes
does that
come at the
patch note
same
come
time. That's why
out?
sometimes our patch notes are in Korean.
Right.
Yeah.
So what time does that normally come out between EU and NA? We'll start off with EU first. What time does that normally come out for you guys? Because I know on
10
PC,
to 11
right?
a.m. in the morning, we get
Okay.
servers go live at like 10. So our patch notes will start rolling from 9 till 11 because they still doing the live translations between then, and that's why we still get patch notes that either have PC info or PC inputs on them, or they just got straight up Korean writing on them.
Okay.
I'm fairly certain all of you guys in the last update got all your season accessories in the mail, and for EU, I don't know if it was like that for anyone else, but all of our season things are all in Korean. All the mail is in Korean.
I'm in NA and I have mail with like Christmas like stuff that you can wear that's half English, half Korean.
Yeah.
So, I think we actually talked a lot on performance and stuff like that. One of the things I actually want to talk about next, and we'll probably bring it to a close with this. That way we can leave it up for the following weeks. That way we don't burn out too much too fast. I kind of want to know how the other regions have, like, how are your sieges and stuff like that. Uh, so Dora, I'll probably ask you first because I know we all watched a couple EU videos, but I will also like Faded to show us some of the EU stuff as well. But can you screen share us to show us how is Asia and the politics run over there, if you
I
don't
think
mind?
she's going to need 1 minute.
My bad. Real quick. With that being said, if you don't mind, Faded and Sidoria, if you don't mind posting, DMing me those clips, me and Rodello and Reform. That way we can show it live on stream how your performance is on those different regions. And we will, just so everyone can understand, NA is not the only one in Brotherhood or Sisterhood that's dealing with that
I
type
haven't
of
had
shit.
a siege in 3 weeks or an node war.
Why would you say you haven't had the siege though? What's going on?
Oh, no one's fighting us.
What guild are you in, and like, why are y'all not dealing with any type of siege?
We actively have to leave our castle to get a fight. I'm in Nuck. Maine is the biggest super guild for EU. They just don't get any fights at all. Like they place on. They've got Medaya Castle. I think it's like 37, 38 weeks now. They place on the same 2 nodes. Everyone knows what nodes they go for. Castle Ruins and Abandoned Monastery. That's the nodes they place on there. Fights them. And yeah, if we want fights in Nuck, we have to try. We have to place on different nodes. I hope that we get a fight, but if a spy tells anybody we're placed, that there's no fight. And we haven't had a node war in like a month. We haven't had siege in 3 weeks.
Okay. So why do you feel like it's like that on EU? Like, is there not enough guilds?
We don't have enough players
narrow the territories
left anymore. Like we don't have
collapse. Did Balls Deep disband?
For this year we lost plebs, or pibes for PA. Because you didn't like plebs, you made them rename to pibes.
Damn.
Then they collapsed. That was a whole siege guild gone. Then Balls Deep, they took over that castle. That was Maine and Balls Deep have had a beef going for years.
Mm-hmm.
They took a castle, Maine took a castle, that ended both of those guild sieges. Because their strength, they could only fight each other. Then when they both took up a castle, no one was fighting them. So everyone was just fighting on Kelfion. Then Balls Deep collapsed, gone, because the players have moved on to other games, because there's just nothing to do for them.
Right.
When you sit in a castle for a year, you've got so much money, you've got nothing left to do.
Gotcha.
They've left because of content. They've left mostly because of performance.
Performance, okay.
You get to a certain point where you've got all this gear, you want to go out there and you want to PvP, and the moment you put more than 5 players together, you're at a gamble of freeze framing. You try and engage, you try and have a fight, and what's the point? You know, you can master your class all you want, and you can lose a skirmish to your game shitting itself.
No, I
Pain.
definitely feel you on that.
Yeah.
As a Suck Wizard main, like my only mobility is like TP, right? Other than some unprotected magical evasion and some earth responses. But other than that, like I feel you.
Yeah, I play Suck Witch
like,
for large scale. Like you skip frame, your TP, that's it. You're exactly where you were.
You're getting
and there's your
CC'd and
mobility
your
gone.
your one and only mobility is just gone, right? I got you on that. Okay, I appreciate that. What about you, Sidori?
Yeah, you're gonna be surprised. Is I think it's almost the same like EU, but I think it's a little bit worse here because we have
think
like
she's-
I said, I'm sure that we have less than 500 PvP player here. We have like almost 1,000. I don't think we have 1,000 or more active player. It's like I'm not sure when, I forgot, but it's like after that update, the update that we cannot declare war. Like right now we have to declare war on both sides, right? Like I send the war to that guild and the guild need to accept. After that update, like a lot of Asian players, they quit the game, maybe join PC or just like play the game and drop these. So right now we have like very little player love. We a little bit different from in Asia. We don't go Calvion Siege War. We go Valencia. Like all of the guild that want to join the Node War, the Conquest War, they will go to Valencia. Yeah, the Siege, not Calvion. Because
it's the most stable one.
No, it's just because the guild here, the guild that's strongest here, the guild number 1 and the guild number 2, and the guild number 1 on Calvion, and nobody want to touch them because they're gonna be hunted by that guild. And then on Media, which has no cap, no limit gear, right? That have guild number 2, and then on Valencia, the guild that holding Valencia have only like 40 or 50 members, so like if everyone want to do siege, they're gonna go there, so they will have a chance to get it.
Right.
And it's like every week, only like 5 guilds or less than that at Valencia, and every guild have like 30, 40 members.
So let me ask you this for your region, right? In Asia, in Asia region, are y'all? Is it hurting? Like, are y'all? Let me ask. Is Medaya uncapped for you guys? For one.
Yes, no cap here on Medaya,
but preferably most of the fights wants to go to the caps, right? For fights.
Yeah, everyone want to fight at cap. If no cap, nobody want to fight there because it's like 100 people with no cap. It's like impossible for us because.
So one thing I will say towards PA, and I know PC has switched up their regions between caps and no caps. It has happened for console in terms of caps and uncaps, but when is the last time console on all regions has had the switch up? You know, last time we had an uncapped in the siege, it was on if I'm not mistaken, either all right, I don't know, but it was between Calfion and Valencia. But ours has been stuck on Medaya regardless, right? And I know between PC, and this all falls back at the end of the day between both platforms of console and PC, that we need different types of caps or different type regions switched up, different roadmaps in general. Like, we don't need the same thing that fucking PC has, because at the end of the day, our meta is completely different because we don't have everything what PC has, right?
Yeah.
So they need to switch it up. It doesn't take much. You can still copy and paste, but copy and paste in a different order of what PC has, right?
I'm actually really glad they didn't give us Battle or Siege.
Right. And I'm with you, Faded. But
still
that's all I
matter
have
for
to say
Asia.
on that.
Yeah, but still doesn't matter on Asia because like the guild number 1 that have 100 player, and the guild number 2 that also have 100 player, nobody gonna fight them. So even if we switch or if we change the region to Balenos, Serendia, or whatever, it's gonna be them who hold the castle at the
That's
same.
our
And then the third
problem on
one gonna be
EU.
switch.
Main can field
Yeah.
100 whenever they want. Nut can field 100 solid. All the other guilds that come at us, they are coming with 50, 60, sometimes 30. They are a ragtag of guilds that we don't have the big alliances that NA have. So it's you've got your 30-man guilds coming. They're not working in coordination. You got your 40-man guilds. They've got to then push 100-man organized guilds, and that's why they just don't bother.
So in terms of politics for Asia and Europe, y'all don't have alliances, right?
Brother.
Oh my
Mm,
god, you Alliance have it's just one big alliance, so it's the guild that the number one guild and number two guild here in Asia, their alliance. That's all.
Can you show
Japanese
us?
and Korean player they don't like to do alliance thing here. Yeah, the guild number one, the strongest number one and number two, the alliance. So
Yeah.
nobody want to fight them. That's why like not much PvP play here because it's kind of boring to fight them.
So they're basically doing it to themselves. That's their fault. Yeah.
Our biggest alliances on EU is someone will bring a cannon guild. That's about it. Like, when Balls was in Valencia Castle, we would take a guild to cannon. But if we ever take a castle, we still expect them to attack, even if they take the castle from us.
Right.
There's
So pretty much,
there is pre-siege alliances. You push the castle together. Like even in Calpheon, everyone pushes that castle together, and then afterwards, it's just everyone goes at each other.
Alright, so I hear everything y'all saying. The only thing that's gonna fix anything of that is either they drop the amount of people that could be in a guild from 100 to 50, or the guild leaders need to knuck up and just fucking actually get shit going. Other than that, there ain't nothing. To be honest, PA could do other than.
But there's not much. It's too little, too late, in my opinion, for EU and possibly Asia. Other games have come out with better performance that have led players away.
Yeah,
I'll personally say like that's a community issue right there. Like we can't even blame PA for that. That's definitely a community issue. So Verdella, you're right. The leaders, they definitely need to get their big boy pants on and say, "Hey, it's time to drop these alliances."
But it's one thing to say that, but there's other things that like we'll say like even PC has that allows other people like the Merc system, right? That allows somebody in one guild to go help and join and siege in it with another guild. What that would do on console is there's a whole player base on console that isn't part of the siege scene, but they have geared players, and those geared players do capped content, right? But they don't place for siege. That would allow those. We have a lot of those players here that would be able to try out siege. Just they don't, if a GM is not confident in taking their guild into siege, they're probably just not going to do it. But if their players want to do siege, they have a system that would allow them to do something like that. That
Do
closing
you
that
guys
gap
not
where-
have mercs for siege on NA?
No.
Wait.
Well, we
hold on.
have
Hold
mercs.
on.
We don't
Hold
have
on.
the merc
Don't-
system.
Don't tell me.
Oh, I was
don't
gonna
tell me.
say, yeah.
Don't
we
tell me
have-
y'all have mercs in you.
No. There's
we
mercs
have
in NA.
mercs,
We don't have
not
the merc system.
but no, we have people are merking constantly. We have people that go back to the PvE guilds during the week and then come and merc on Saturday.
That's actually like the
Wow.
direction I've actually considered taking, honestly. Personally.
We've also got players
There's
that
a
will
lot of
go
people in the
all
other
week
communities
outside
that-
of a guild, and then they just go back into a siege guild on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Right. Which
So
we do have.
we have
people on
so
like
many
that on
guilds that
console.
go from being a 10 to 15-man guild during the week to a 60-man guild on the weekend.
I look. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. This topic that we're talking about right now, like I think us talking about it ain't gonna change anything. More of a GM, like a guild leadership.
No, yeah, you are right. Us talking about siege ain't gonna do too much because
Astoria was going to show us around Asia.
Oh.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
she's
go ahead.
live now.
I cannot show you anything on EU. It's dead.
Yeah, she's going to give us an explanation of what's going on over there.
They're holding castle right now. The number one guild, like the guild F, and the number two guild, the guild P, they are on the same side. They're alliance. And then we have the guild V, which have 100 people too, 100 members too. Like these two guild alliance fight against this guild V, right? They fight each other. Right now we have like just 3 guilds that do GVG, but they not declare war. Imagine
Right.
if, I don't know why, maybe just like because guild V afraid of them, like because it's 200 versus 100, but when they fight like they only fight in Asia server, but they Guild F and Guild P, they really hate V, so they like chasing them even on normal server. Even they can't declare war, they still hunt this guild because like on Asia we like you said before, we all done all our gear, we on in-game gear, everything V, and we have nothing to do. And in Node War or Siege War, nobody want to fight these two guild F and P. So the only choice that they can do is just like hunt this guild. And the number
so basically what I'm getting from this is F and P are ruining their opportunity to enjoy the game by allying together and fighting a third top guild rather than just being three separate fucking guilds like they should be.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like it's kind of boring for them because they cannot do PvP properly. They cannot do GVG. They cannot declare war, or even in Node War because we have like very little member. Like for Elf, if Elf have 100, P have 100, B 100. So now we only have 300, and then we have like other small guild that have like 50 or 40 member, not more than that. Like 5 guilds. So 5 times 5, 250. So it's like in console we have only around 500 to 600 players that can do PvP. So it's kind of bored here because nobody want to fight these 3 guilds because they have hundreds. So in Node War, they always like try to avoid them. And then on Saturday for Siege War, nobody built there. Here, F is on C, Calvion, P is on M, and then V. But this week is a little bit different from before because this week V is at M, V beat P last week, but I think this Saturday P gonna beat M tonight. We will see what gonna happen. And then Valencia, for Valencia, we like have around 5 guilds switching, maybe guild I and guild N. They are occupied Valencia right now. Right now is I, guild I occupied V. Maybe this week guild N gonna tag it, and like it will be like this like every week. Maybe next week we will switch. If this week N tag it, next week I gonna tag it, and then V and P maybe fighting at M, and then C nobody gonna fight them for F because it's like it's the lowest cap, right, at Calvion. So imagine you need to fight 100 people, which the lowest cap. So that means you need like more than 2 times or 3 times. So you need 200. How are we gonna get that number? So we need alliance, and then Japanese player they don't want to do alliance thing. They just want to fight by their own. So it's impossible. Even if they have 100 player, to be 1v1 with 100 player, it's gonna be hard to get a castle. And we don't have enough players here.
So essentially, you'll have a similar issue we got just on a smaller scale, but since it's smaller scale, it's bigger at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's almost the same like EU. It's just
no, like the issue itself sounds worse, but like they just have less players. Is what it sounds like.
Yeah, the problem is we have less player. It's gonna be less because we can do war, we can do PvP here. It's not fun for them, so they just quit the game. The person that's still playing is like, I don't know. It's kind of hard for us
Yeah.
to
See,
play.
for us on NA, we have 3 separate alliances. There's a 3 guild alliance that holds one territory, a 4 guild alliance that holds one, and then there's like a 30 guild alliance. Well, not 30 guild. There's a 10 guild alliance that holds the other. But a
That
lot of
sounds fun.
it's not because there's a lot of we call them dress rehearsals on console. But the T1 and T2 guilds, they're either forced to join an alliance or they're forced to not participate into Siege. I know
Uh,
Feta said he's happy that they don't have like the Valanos because it's hard for their top 2 guilds to find fights because nobody pushes them. But on NA, we actually want Valanos Siege as a cap siege so that the T1 and T2 players could start participating in their own siege, which will open doors to other alliances that are forced to become a part of these alliances to actually break away from that and have their own siege to themselves. Which we could probably talk further about that in the next podcast. I know it's kind of getting late. Don't want to drag it out to 4 hours or more because
yeah.
I know a lot of you guys have things to do on this weekend. So probably will be a closing out. I'm gonna start from the top, go to the bottom. Um, Sidor, any closing words?
Oh yeah. You just said like you have like 30 islands there, right? 30 guilds for tier 1, tier 2. Here in Asia, we have only 2 guilds on tier 1 and tier 2. So it's like free node every week for them. Like in a week, they can get like 3 nodes a week. Nobody gonna fight them. Like it's a free on tier 1. Nobody fight.
So
3,
with
4,
it,
5.
do you guys have
Yeah.
guild lockout in Asia? Because in NA, I don't know if about the same about EU. If you place and no one's there, and more than twice, you get locked out for your third node war for the week. Is that a thing in Asia or no?
No,
Eh?
No.
No, I don't think we have
no.
that
You
here.
can snipe three.
Yeah.
You can snipe 3 days in a row on EU.
Oh, okay. So that's just an NA thing. It's just to stop NA sniping. Then that they have you locked out if it happens more
You've
than
probably
once.
got too many guilds to allow people to do 3 days of sniping.
Wait, to
Yeah.
be able to separate updates like that between regions?
Yeah, the only people who can do 2 is obviously castle owners. We can place twice, and if it's two snipes, it's 2 snipes. That's it. You get 2 fights no matter what.
Yeah, that's the same as here as well. But Squidius does bring a point up here. Like, if they can separate between consoles area, like consoles regions, that opens up a lot of
Yeah.
questions to what else they could potentially
I
separate.
didn't even know that NA was added to lockout.
Yeah, if you
I just assumed you guys were on the same as us. As
no
long as you guys win, you can place again, even if
no.
you fought no one.
As of like last year, NA used to have a lot of what we called snipe guilds, where they would just place, get the free money, and then never fight. So with the lockout system, it either forced them to either not go to Node War at all, or to join an alliance and place for siege, like we have with these T1 and T2 node guilds that are in these bigger alliances that are just either fodder or cannon guilds.
On NA, can you lock out build placements still?
That
we can lock our build placements.
yeah.
You can't on EU.
You said you can't?
You can't, no.
Whoa. I think in the
On
next
when it comes to our node war build spots, if it's where a siege fort can go, you can't build there.
see. Oh, also special shout out to Blue Squadron. I see he is in here. Special shout out to Blue Squadron. Also with this news, because us in it, we didn't know y'all had separate things. So
I
this
didn't know we had
actually
separate things either.
this actually for the next podcast opens up blazing statement on console and
Yeah, if
PC
you guys want to jot
roadmap.
down what is different for you guys, like your things, I will do my best to explore and see what we've got, and then we can compare the differences there.
So, on my end, my bad for any other partner, but what I would else say is, for anybody in the future, this is not hold on, my bad. So, not
You
to
gotta
cut you
get it.
off, by the way, Messiah, but for any other person from the community, whether it be from PC or console, this is not the last stream, right? To just voice your opinion. The first stream, yes, is strictly partners, but up and going. Furthermore, we plan on doing this more. That way, people from the community, if we entrust that you're not here to break TOS, we are here to let you voice your opinion on this podcast. This is not the first time. We did take a little bit of advice from Blue Squadron. There was some stuff that we disagreed, but also stuff that we did agree on in terms of content creating, or stuff that will benefit us as well for our community. But this is for us as console community to build up ourselves and be able to voice our opinion, and hopefully hope that Pearl is listening to this, right?
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say.
I really like that because I think majority of us are all at the point where all that's left is PvP.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PvP has been hashed out so many of our conversations. Broadening our spectrum of conversation across the player base is going to be a very healthy thing to do.
I think if the top guilds actually make sister guilds to introduce these new players that are coming to the game, because I know a lot of new players like the combat and they want to do some PvP. If you guys were to do sister clans or sister guilds and teach these newbies to play, and teach them the politics with PvP, you guys, and once they get a good enough gear score, you guys can move them up to your main rosters, which would then, you guys would actually have new players to fight rather than the same ones all the time.
Well, unfortunately, they have that. They have that on. They have that on PC, but we just don't have it, bro. Just how like
I reckon it's
Cho Nation
genius.
has Chomies. I'm in a guild on PC. They got I don't know the name of the main guild, but I'm in the sister guild, and it's called Gear Academy, and it's like they're all in the same. They're in the same like guild description.
It's the alliance system. What they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my guild, like, I have a lot of people in my guild that want a PvP that are 700 gear score, and they just don't know how to get into the scene. Like, they don't know who to hit up. So, like, what you guys were saying about the mercenary system, like the actual system, like, if that were to ever come out, like, I have like over 20 bodies over 700 gear score in my guild that would love the PvP, just for the short term.
League should really help with that as well.
I feel like with Guild League, a lot of players on console are gonna come out of nowhere and just shine. Honestly,
I think Guild League's going to be a very healthy thing for PvP on console. Very, very healthy thing.
I agree with that.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's definitely something we need, because like we're missing a lot, right? We're missing the secondary part to Arsha server, right? Where that everyone
We
is
will be getting
anonymous. We don't have AOS. We don't have the Guild League now. There's a lot of PvP content we're missing. And if PA does want to copy and paste certain things, then they need to be able to give us certain rights to PvP, whether it be RBF, Valencia, AOS, guild beef between the RBF league, or I'm sorry, the PvP league. So we have to have that content in order for us to be up there with PC. You know what I'm saying?
I think next gen will change a lot. I reckon once we get next gen, we like sort of what's the word? We reassess, and that's like we've got a trailer in like 4 months. Yeah, I think once we get that, well, they'll be able to start catching us up in
with
content.
announcements and everything. Idle ball time. June 22nd, I think someone said Idle ball is. So.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I've seen it about. Don't quote me on the exact date, but it's June.
I I want RBF.
Well,
I
The
think
way
it's
that
because they've had
Are we
the
done with all
Heidel
the talking
Bowl.
part? Are we done with all our talking points?
yeah, for the most part.
Yep.
Anybody got any other closing words, or y'all want to just end it there?
I just want to say, Sidoria and Faded, I appreciate you guys coming out and giving us an insight onto your guys' regions. I learned a lot personally, and hopefully we'll be able to continue this conversation up more in the future. And then everyone else who streamed today, if everyone in the chat can go follow everyone who took the time to set up and go live, that'd be awesome too. That's all I gotta say.
Got you. Well, guys, thank y'all for viewing in. As you heard, Hidel, we will learn more about next gen. So make sure you have enough copium to last you until then. Goodbye, everybody.